Are you struggling with the golf swing takeaway? Stick around, I'm going to show exactly how to make the correct golf swing takeaway and improve your whole golf swing. I'll see you soon. Hey, it's Troy from Hitting It Solid here. The golf swing takeaway. I'm going to take you through a couple of great drills and also some key areas how you can fix your golf swing takeaway so you can get it on the right path and help your overall golf swing. So make sure you stick around to the end. I'm going to show you two fantastic drills and you'll start having the correct golf swing takeaway in no time. So it gets spoken about quite a lot because it's just so important in the golf swing. The takeaway starts the whole swing, so if you get it wrong, the whole golf swing becomes a series of compensations trying to save the rest of the swing. So what do I see most commonly where golfers go wrong in the takeaway? So for me, there's a few key areas. So the first one is probably becoming way too wristy in their hand. So I'll show you this from down the line. If I'm set up over the ball, where a lot of golfers go wrong is the first thing they do is actually snatch the club away with their wrists, and they'll do this, and normally more often than not the club will get wrapped around in behind them. So look something like this. Straight away, a lot of problems to fix in the golf swing. So that's one area where they get wrong, and the other one would be over rotating that lead forearm. So this left forearm here for a right-hander, what they'll do, even if they don't use too much wrist action, what will quite often happen is as they make their takeaway, they'll let this lead forearm roll like this. It rolls over like that, and what it does is it pulls the club inside straight away underneath the plane, and again compensation is required to fix everything from there. So they're the two main areas. Probably to a lesser extent would be golfers that bring it back and they bend that right elbow a bit too quick. That's probably a lesser known issue. Another issue would be having the face too wide, too open or too close in the takeaway, but that's not a huge issue. It's normally the first two are the biggest culprits of the takeaway. So what are some key areas that I look for to have a great golf swing takeaway? Well, for me, this left wrist in the takeaway is getting a bit of cupping as I move the club away, and I'll show you what this looks like. So if I'm set up to a ball, as I move the club away, I like to see, and hopefully you can see this on the camera angle, a little bit of cupping in the wrist. So it'll look a little bit like this. I don't want bowing where the wrist is turned like that, because that'll just pull the club head inside. I want a little bit of cupping that helps keep the club just out in front of me or in line with me on the way back. So it'll look something like this. Just got that little bit of cupping, and I'm in a really good takeaway position there. So that's the first thing I want to do to get right. And the second I want to do is move everything, my upper body and the club, all in one piece together. I don't want those hands becoming too active and pulling the club inside. So that's another thing I look to do, and that'll look again like this. Everything moving one piece, all in one piece together. So we'll do that again. And we made a really good takeaway. Now the next thing I like to look for is to get a little bit of wrist cock, and what I mean by that is if I've got the club here like this, wrist cock is just lifting up like that. Rather than hinging it inward like that, I like to get a little bit of wrist cock. And what that does is it helps get the club on plane, and what I mean by on plane is if I'm set up over the ball and there's a plane line drawn right through the club, through my body, that's our plane at address. I like to try and maintain that plane right throughout the golf swing, and the last thing we want to do is pull the club inside and get it way off plane right from the start. So if I can get a little bit of wrist cock, that helps get the club in front of me, and that little bit of wrist cock and straight on plane like that, and I'm in a really great starting position there. So those are some key things we can do to help make a great takeaway. Now I'm going to add a couple of extra things that I think will really help you out as well. So The other thing I like to feel in my takeaway is getting that rib cage as turning with the whole body as it starts. So I'm over the ball. I like to feel as though this rib cage right on my left here, a real squeeze in there, and that helps me keep the club and my body turning and getting the club out in front of me right from the start. So I'll do that again. Just feeling that squeeze in that lead rib cage. If I don't squeeze it and I do this, I don't even feel anything in this left rib cage. But if I feel a squeeze, I know I've made a really good takeaway and started the golf swing on the right track. So those are some really key things that you can do to get that takeaway started right. So I've got a couple of drills you can practice. You can do these at home, in your backyard, even inside your house. You don't need to be hitting balls or anything like that to really ingrain the feel of making a golf swing takeaway. So the first one I like to do is I like to put the club buttercup right into my sternum, take my hands, actually I'll put it down just a little bit lower on our belly button and just turn. And what that does is it helps move everything together in one piece. And I'll just show you this from down the line. And you can see it keeps everything together. My arms are matched up with my chest. You can adjust that height, put it up a bit higher if you want. Keeps everything matched up together. We'll just drop that down a bit lower. Everything's matched up, and that's a great way to practice getting the right golf swing takeaway. So the other one I like to practice, if I get over in position here, is making sure I can feel that club hinging up just a fraction. So if I'm over the ball, I feel like I'm getting a little bit of that hinge up like that. But most importantly, what I like to feel when I do that is that right arm not bending too much and getting behind me. And where a lot of golfers get into problems is they get very wristy and this right elbow gets tucked in behind them straight away, whereas you really want to be trying to keep those elbows in front of your body, at least till you get to this position here before the rest of your backswing starts. So if I do that, get that right arm a little bit straighter. You can see that right arm's relatively straight. You might have a little bit of bend in it, but if I do that, I'm in a great takeaway position just by keeping that right arm just a little bit straighter. I'll do that again. We've made a really good takeaway and we're ready to complete the rest of the backswing. So make sure you give those 2 drills a try. That will really help you out. Takeaway is just so important, and I know if you practice this you can get really good at it and it'll help your overall golf swing. So if you like this video, make sure you give me a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions or comments, please put them below. Now below this video there'll be a couple of links to some additional golf instruction. Make sure you check that out. That will really help out your golf game. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.